So what are you live on? Like you're live on Facebook?
We're let you know when we're live. It's gonna ask me to enter a meeting title.
Uh-huh.
1 second. It will show on the screen when it's live. It's taking sweet time. Yeah, it's weird. It usually works just fine. Does it say? No, it doesn't say we're live yet. Okay. It's very slow for some reason. I may want to reload the link. Let's see. This is the only way I know to go live on Facebook. I haven't had any issues so far. It's taking a sweet time bringing the link. Oh man, come on. Never had this issue.
You can go, like I'm pointing this way.
Okay, so I
You
can
can
sit
go.
here.
Yeah, you can probably sit here. You
Okay,
can
I'm
go.
gonna make a tea.
You can watch it too.
You know what? If it doesn't go, you know what?
As the rope with no.
If we're not able to go live on Facebook, Todor, we may want to try going live on Instagram. I just have never done an interview via Instagram Live. We could try, and I can point people in that direction.
Okay. What's the problem with Facebook right now?
I have no idea. It's not loading the live link. So I'm going to try again. I'm going to click that, and from Zoom, I'm going to click again, go live on Facebook. This is how I usually do it. I just click on go live on Facebook. Or I can try going live on YouTube, which I also have the option of doing. I have a small YouTube channel and I can just tell people on Facebook, hey guys, you know what? We weren't able to go live on Facebook. Let's try, oh, seriously? And I'm not, give me a sec. Tati, mă mai stă pe terasă și eu sunt într-un live call. Te rog să nu mai târzi după ora 5 jumate, te rog frumos. Nu, she's on the terrace. So that is so strange again. So I've not had these issues, but you know what? Sometimes these things happen, you know. I've not had issues going live on Facebook from Zoom. This is the first time I'm having this. It's just the link won't load. So let's try, I'm just gonna shut that off. Let's try going live on YouTube and set up professional audio in audio settings. No, okay, let's try, okay. Live on YouTube. Let's see if this will work.
You want to do YouTube or you want to do Instagram? It's up to you.
From Zoom, it only gives me the option of going either live on Facebook or live on YouTube from Zoom. Okay. If we're gonna do Instagram Live, which we can also do, I can tell my Facebook friends like, hey, you know what? Zoom is not working. Have you ever done an Instagram Live interview?
No.
Okay, we can figure it out. Okay, how would we do it? Okay, so it's really refusing to load. Like normally Zoom creates a link and then redirects to the other platforms, but it's not doing it right now. So there seems to be an issue with Zoom. So annoying, I can't believe this. Okay, it's just not loading. I can try, I'm reloading the link. Let's see if we can go live on Instagram. I mean,
yeah, let's try it.
Otherwise, like we can just tell people, hey guys, join us via Zoom directly because we're not able to go live. Okay,
let's go on Instagram.
Let's go. So Instagram. I don't know if I can go live from the computer on Instagram. Have you ever tried it, or is it only from the phone? If it has to be from the phone, we'll do it from the phone. You know, we'll adjust.
You may have to log in to Zoom from the phone.
The issue might be with
I'm not sure. Like, I should not be speaking because I don't know.
Okay, you know what? I wonder if the issue is with my Wi-Fi network because it shows me that I'm connected and secure. Um, Maybe I'll just disconnect my VPN. Let's see if that will help. Geez, can't believe this. Okay, I just disconnected my VPN just in case that's the issue. Let me try again. Live on Facebook. Let's try again. Okay, it's working now. So my VPN was somehow blocking the connection. I've not had this issue before, but hey, when I upload this video to, okay, it's gonna work now, Todor. It's gonna work.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so I just disconnected my VPN. There was something to do with my VPN.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least we figured it out. Jeez. Okay. Okay, all right. I'm just typing in the title. Okay. Go live. Okay.
Oh, we're live on Facebook.
Okay. Awesome.
Look at that.
Okay. Awesome. Yes.
Look at that.
Hello, everybody. Leticia here, coming to you for another edition of my weekly Money Matters webinars. And today's topic, as announced a bit earlier today, is a Toronto and GTA real estate market update. And I have the honor of having as my guest today our friend, Mr. Todor Yordanov. I've known Todor for a few years. We had the pleasure of meeting at a real estate networking event. And since then, Todor has become a popular figure on the Toronto real estate scene. And I'd like to share a little bit about Todor and before I invite him to join us. Give me 1 second. Okay, I have his bio up here. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Welcome, Todor, by the way.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. Hi, Leticia. Good to see you.
Thanks for joining us, Todor. I have your bio here. So, from humble immigrant with $20 in his pocket to one of the top real estate brokers in the GTA. Todor started investing in renovation properties around 1994, long before the internet had any information on the subject. A few years later, he started leading small groups of investors in Toronto to discover and apply multiple investment strategies across many different property types. Today, Todor's focus is mostly on new construction projects across Ontario. From condos to new subdivision communities, Todor takes his clients to projects where the opportunity to make significant returns is the greatest. Real estate is constantly evolving, and we must evolve with it. With some patience and the right approach, big dreams can become a reality. Thank you so much again, Todor, for joining us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And you know what? It's been 2020. Forgive me for stating the obvious. 2020 has been such an unusual year for so many of us and in so many ways. And I obviously have to wonder, how that affected the Toronto real estate market. Prior to 2020, we had a very hot real estate market. Vacancies were under 1%, under 3%, extremely low vacancies. We were often coming across bidding wars. Property prices just kept going up and up. What was the effect of the crazy year that was 2020, Todor? What would you like to start with?
Well, we're still trying to figure out what happened in 2020. I mean, there's like so many things that happened in 2020. You could say that if something takes normally to take 20 years to transpire, to go from beginning to an end, we did that in 1 year in 2020 in some aspects. Definitely working from home is one of those things that companies have been trying to get into for the past 15, 20 years, and they were projecting how they're gonna get to working from home in the next 10, 15 years. And then COVID forced companies to implement working from home within weeks, within months.
Yeah.
Um, there's always like a good and bad. The good thing is that it's working. My daughter works from home. Her friends work from home. I have a lot of clients that work from home, and
Mhm.
I hear this from everybody again and again that the productivity is up. Companies are thriving. When they were working from home, with their workforce working from home. To me, this is very surprising. I would have bet that it's not going to go so well,
Right. Yeah.
but I would have been wrong, completely wrong. Apparently, productivity really is up. Like I talk to a lot of people in marketing, digital marketing, people that are, selling products, like all kinds of tech companies, and they're all saying it's great. Like we're having the best year ever
Wow.
in
Isn't that
terms of
interesting?
their specific businesses, right? So that's like really really surprised me, but it's like great news.
Yeah.
um what else happened? I mean, before 2020, at the end of 2019, it's like the condo market downtown core was kind of like getting stressed and it was booming. There was like real problem with vacancies for units. There was like a real problem with when people wanted to buy because it was such a high demand on the buying side. And that completely changed 180 degrees upside
Really.
down. Yeah,
Really.
exactly. When people were starting to move out of the city, going back home with their parents, or maybe just like saying, okay, it's like we don't have to rent anymore downtown. Now we can buy something bigger in St. Catharines and Niagara Falls and Stony
Okay.
Creek and Barrie, Innisfil, Peterborough, all these communities saw a lot of the downtown core people moving outside of GTA. People started moving outside of GTA, and when they start moving outside of the GTA, and they kind of got comfortable with working from home, comfortable with being on high speed internet. I hear from people is like, oh, now I can go to my cottage, work out of Muskoka. Oh,
Wow.
I can go back to Nova Scotia, for
Wow.
example.
Yeah.
Oh, I can go to the Dominican Republic. Like I have 3 or 4 people that I know very well that are working outside of the Dominican Republic, and they tell me it's great. It's like no problem. You're on a high speed. So it's a good and bad thing. Like because I also hear from employers, you don't want to be too far away from your employment center because like how long before your job gets replaced with somebody who can do it cheaper in other parts of the world. So it's a kind of a, like they say, a knife with two-sided
Yeah.
blades.
Yeah.
It cuts both ways. So I don't really want to make prediction of what working from home is going to look like in the next 2 or 3 years.
Mm.
What I did see in the downtown core area, there was prices obviously dropped for condos. A large rental vacancies. It was not
Really.
easy to fill those vacancies. In some cases, it was impossible. But that
Wow.
was 2020. Now we're in
Right.
2021, and I
Mhm.
have to tell you, like right now, this is something that happened in the last week, 10 days.
Okay.
The condo market is starting to come back. The rental market is starting to come back. I don't know for a fact yet if people are starting to move back into the city,
Okay.
but we're seeing a lot of demands on condo. People are buying condos, resale condos, and I see um, a significant improvement in the rental demand.
Okay. Do you think so? You're not sure why this is happening. Do you think there are some people that are thinking, well, you know what, maybe because it's finally, because one of the questions I asked you, I had a few, I was curious as to what's happening, right? So one of the questions I asked is, do you feel that, especially when it comes to the condo market, it's finally a buyer's market? Because for a long time, I mean, all of Toronto real estate was so hot, multiple offers on everything. Whether you were, looking for to rent a place, rent prices were very high, and then So, or even when it comes to buying, there were multiple offers on almost all the properties. So do you find that that's not the case? Has that been,
Right.
so right now,
So
are we
I'm
in a
gonna tell you,
buyer's market?
Letitia, it's like when we talk about the market and whether it's a seller's or a buyer's market, like we really, like everybody really needs to understand that we have to get very, very specific on a very tight geographical area. For example, anything that is south of Bloor and let's say east of Bathurst and west of the DVP, that's considered the downtown core.
Yeah.
So the downtown core in the condo, the condos in the downtown core were severely impacted by COVID, and now this is recovering. So we could say that we had a buyer's market in the condo for the downtown core, but in South Etobicoke, in Humber Bay, Mimico, where I am,
Yeah.
we had like no change in the market, maybe a little pause, maybe a little bit of a softening for a little bit, but prices didn't go up, the rental demand didn't go up. It was pretty much business as usual. And we're so close, we're basically right next to the downtown core,
Of
and
course.
yet there was such a big difference. And the further you
Wow.
go into Mississauga or you go into North York, you go into Richmond Hill, prices were actually increasing.
Isn't that
There
interesting?
was like a pretty much normal activity.
Wow.
Um, the market, the buyers in the market are favoring at this point houses and semi-detached houses if they can qualify to buy something like that because
Of
prices in GTA just went through the roof this year in
Really?
2020.
So isn't it
Through
interesting?
the
So
roof.
as the price of the condos in the downtown core was affected downwards,
Yes.
the house prices for single family homes and
And
semi-detached.
condos and semi-detached and townhouses, everything in the city went up significantly.
Wow. Do you think it's just, I mean, I remember having to go visit a few condo buildings downtown Toronto in the midst of, with the current restrictions. And, one of the things that was happening is that they were restricting the numbers of people that could go on an elevator. They required masks to get into the building. So, but the most inconvenient thing was like some of these condo buildings already had long lineups for the elevators at rush hour. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, like some of these, like the lineups were getting even longer. Um, now with so many people successfully working from home, that may not be as much of an issue anymore because those were the early months of the CV situation. So people were, I think, employers were not maybe fully adjusted. Um, but I think that anybody who had to wait 15 minutes for an elevator, you'd rather take the stairs to the 22nd floor if that's the case.
Right.
But I mean, do you think that's part of why people were now they're thinking, I'd rather live in a house, forget the condos, I'd rather um,
Yeah, I think, and then this is my personal opinion, and I'm just like we're just talking like friends here, right? So I think it's a lifestyle choice, right? Condo living in the downtown core was very much life choice as much as job opportunities,
right.
right? It was very trendy to live downtown, and all of the younger kids, like 20-something-year-old, 30-something-year-old, they would come to Toronto and live in a very small space and pay a lot of money in rents, or they will buy a condo just because they wanted to be in the city, they wanted to be with the emotions of the city, the energy of the city, the clubs, the restaurants,
But that's all
the
gone now.
art
So what are
scene,
we,
and
yeah.
also walk to work, and see their friends. And but now that was all gone.
Yeah.
So when it disappeared, they're sitting in those small condos, working from home, not going anywhere.
There's nowhere to go.
All of the benefits of living in the city are now all of a sudden gone. So you could imagine somebody like that would sit in the condo and say, okay, so it's no longer fun to be here and it's very expensive. What else can I do? And it's a normal conversation. Or maybe I can move back with my parents in Mississauga or in Markham or like whatever, right? Or maybe I saved up some money, maybe I can get a townhouse in Stony Creek in Hamilton or somewhere. I mean, it's like, why pay $2,500 in rents when I
Yeah.
can own a property and pay my mortgage in Barrie?
Yeah.
I don't have to commute because commuting is no longer an issue for me. Everybody's working from home.
Yeah.
And my company and all the other companies are telling me that we're going to be working from home for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
We don't know what that means. Does that mean like 6 months? Does it mean 1 year? Does it mean 2 years? Some companies are telling their staff that they don't see. I think it was a statistic somewhere where I read this. They don't see their workforce, 60% of their workforce coming back full-time working at the place of employment ever.
Wow. Yeah. I can only
Meaning that they're
imagine.
planning for 60-70% of the workforce to work from home in some fashion.
Got it.
Does that mean like you're going to work from home 4 days and then only come to work 1 day a week? I don't know. I mean, these are
Yeah.
all things that are changing right now. But so anyway, so all these people, they decided to go to other places and try different lifestyles. Prince Edward County, Barrie, Innisfil, Muskoka,
Yeah.
Kitchener-Waterloo, all the way down to Niagara Falls. In all of the rural communities, prices of houses double.
Wow. Wow.
Because they used to be $350,000,
Yeah.
$400,000 homes in smaller communities
Yeah.
in southwestern Ontario, and now you have people from downtown Toronto where you're ready to buy a small condo for 600,000. Now you can have like a beautiful house for 400,000, and they're like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to have more space. I like to have the outdoors.
Yeah.
Interesting how many of those people are actually going to like that lifestyle and decide to make that lifestyle permanent once COVID is history and we can return to the usual life of downtown.
The thing is,
Whatever that is,
yeah,
whatever that looks like.
that's the big question, right? And
Yes.
since we're mentioning with so many people working from home, I can only wonder what kind of impact this has had on office space. I know commercial real estate is not your area of expertise, but I'm sure you must come across like in your day-to-day life or speaking to colleagues. I can't imagine office spaces in high demand right now with all these people working from home.
Yes.
Um, Same thing on the retail side of things. I mean, with businesses being forced shut, like has the government introduced any more support payments for all this towards the rent? I don't know if you're even aware of that.
I'm not entirely up to date on the support payments. I know that there are some payments that people who are unemployed and businesses that are suffering can tap into, but I don't really know that. You touched on commercial real estate and office spaces and stuff like that. I think that is something that the impact will be felt for probably a few more years to come. If I have to make a prediction, my prediction would be that within 6 to 9 months, businesses are going to start bringing people back in to the city, and people are going to start coming back into the city, just because of it's like I live here. Like I cannot see myself living anywhere else.
Got it. Yeah, and it's not very sustainable. I mean, we all we're social animals. We're social, like so the whole the isolation aspect. It's fine that you can get your work done, but I mean, there's only so much that can be done online, and in terms of like actually connecting in person with other human beings, I think there's a limit to how much people will take. At least I hope so. I was very active about my beliefs. I'd rather. I find some of these restrictions punitive and over the top. Do you want to draw the blinds? It looks like the sun is hitting
give
it
me
right
1 second. Yeah, this is burning into my eyes.
Yeah. So just getting back to real estate and the condo market, Todor, I know since Toronto was such a hot real estate and rental market, we had a lot of pre-construction projects. I remember, 2 years ago, Toronto had the highest number of pre-construction condo projects in North America, second highest in the world after Sao Paulo. So, and I know that even throughout the CV situation, construction sector was considered essential. So as far as I could tell, construction didn't stop. Not sure how things are right now with the new restrictions that are, in the Toronto area. But you're right on the pulse of the pre-construction project. So what's happened with all the projects that were in pre-construction?
So what happened is that construction and real estate services were declared essentials throughout the whole epidemic. And so the construction work on our infrastructure from the city and also on the private side from the builders, developers, didn't skip a beat. Like it just kept on going. And there could be some delays here and there for union issues, but let's not talk about that. But it's like it's just been humming along the whole time. And on the development side, so on the new project side, developers basically did not release the buildings that were planned to be released in 2020.
Really? They
I
did not
think,
release them?
and again, I don't have the exact numbers because
Sure.
nobody knows what was supposed to come to the market.
Mhm.
But my feeling is that only about 20 or 30% of what would have come to the market in a normal year came to the market.
Really?
And because again, it was like such a short supply, even for new pre-construction, the developments that came to the market in 2020 was sold out in a matter of days.
Wow. Wow.
Right.
So then why
So they
wouldn't
kind of
they?
like managed the market very well,
Okay.
not to flood a market that is a bit depressed, a bit scared, a bit unsure of what's going to happen.
Okay.
They really staggered those developments, so buyers were buying them without flooding the market with too many new construction developments. But I kind of feel the energy now already. We already have a few strong projects in 2021 starting up. There's a big demand, there's a big interest. Prices as an issue, like you're probably going to ask me, did the prices go down? No, they didn't go down. They actually
So
went up.
so for the new construction projects that are coming to market, the prices
Prices went
are,
up.
wow.
Prices went up
Well,
even in 2020. What the
yeah.
developers did to incentivize buyers was like extra extended deposits.
Okay.
And if where it was possible, they'll throw in like a free parking or maybe reduced
Really?
price on a locker, things like that. But it was mostly the extended deposits just to make sure that people can have enough time to save up for these deposits. That
Got it.
certainly helps.
Got
But
it.
and the other thing that I saw um, in 2020 is that there were not that many developments in the downtown core.
Yeah.
Very few, like almost none. All of the developments, and even now in 2020, what I'm seeing is all of the developments are outside of the downtown core and even further and further away from GTA.
Yeah.
Like we have a development now in Hamilton, we have another one in Barrie, we have one in Bowmansville, we have a development in coming up in Peterborough, like all outside of GTA.
Wow.
I was working
Wow.
yesterday on a
Peterborough,
development
eh? Wow.
in Meafort, and Meafort is 20 minutes north of Barrie. Like sold it in like a few days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That makes sense. And these are, again, because I know new construction could be, are these townhouses, Todor, or are they actual condo projects in those areas?
Condo and townhouses.
Wow.
Detached houses, semi-detached houses, stock townhouses, condo buildings. A lot of the projects that we're going to see going forward in the next 5 years is going to be outside of GTA.
I can see that. I mean, we were, even prior to COVID, there were, Barrie market was on fire, Hamilton was on fire, totally
Yep.
booming. And mostly because of affordability, just people couldn't afford to buy in the GTA anymore. The young families, the young professionals. But I can see that, you're absolutely right. I can see those satellite markets booming even more now with the ability to work from home, because previously
Yes.
people with, people who worked in Toronto and had to commute to Barrie, that was a long commute. It's not pleasant to be stuck on the 400.
Yeah.
So now that these people can work from home, it's almost a no-brainer. I get to live closer to nature, lower price point. Although you're saying that the price point. So give me an idea. Like a project like the one that you just mentioned, that's 20 minutes north of Barrie. What kind of starting price point would a project like that have for, I don't know, one bedrooms, or what do they even have?
Okay, so we really have to compare apples to apples, and unfortunately, I don't have the spreadsheet that, because you have to talk about the square footage as well. So in Barrie, for example, you're gonna get a nice one bedroom and a den, functional den, big den, 720 square foot for, let's say, just under $400,000,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Okay.
720, 30, 40 square foot condo downtown would be your typical two-bedroom condo.
Right.
So up there, you're getting more space,
Okay.
and the dens are bigger, and the price is less. Where in Toronto, the space is smaller, the rooms are smaller, the dens are like really, really small in most cases,
Yeah.
and then the price is higher.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, is like you can't really compare just like a one bedroom and a den with a one bedroom and a den, $400,000 to $600,000. You have to look at the whole unit and how that fits you and your lifestyle, or if you're buying it as an
Yeah.
investment, how is it going to rent, that kind of stuff. Like, but the rents are very strong up there because they don't have, again, they have a lot of people that are moving up
And not enough
looking for
inventory.
rental, exactly, and they don't have the inventory. And I think this is the problem. This is the problem in GTA. Outside of the GTA, it's a little bit more affordable and a little bit more inventory, but in GTA, it's tight. There's absolutely very little houses on the market, very few condos on the market in
Really?
general. Right,
Really?
right.
So
I
why
was
do you
talking to
think
a real estate.
that's so
I was
interesting?
talking to a real estate agent who was selling it at last night in Oakville. He was competing for a house with his buyer, and they had 64 offers.
Oh my God. What?
So anywhere
Must have been a low
anywhere
priced home
between
in Oakville, because Oakville is generally like,
20 to 40 offers in GTA on any house right now is typical.
wow. So that tells you that
Right?
people still
So
want to
like if
live
you
in the
get only
GTA.
4 offers, it's like, what did you do wrong? You know what I mean? It's like, it's
Wow.
insane. It's
Wow.
insane.
Wow. 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 So, but you're
You
saying,
know,
so you're
you've
saying,
been away for a little bit, so you probably don't
yeah.
feel the pulse of the city,
No, yeah.
like when you were here. But if you are a buyer right now in GTA, it's extremely tough,
Really?
extremely tough. Yeah.
Well, specifically a buyer for
For a
either a
house,
home, a house,
townhouse,
semi-detached.
semi-detached
Okay.
house. Yes.
Okay. But what would you say to somebody who, like, who has a condo in Toronto right now? Would you advise people to, because it sounds like there has been a softening in the condo market, especially in the downtown core. Um, is there any inventory? I mean, are those condo owners looking to sell, to offload their units? And also, what about all the people that were buying these units previously for investment purposes, whether to Airbnb them or just straight up rental? Um, I know I'm asking you so many questions, because one of the issues even before COVID was that so many of these condos were being used as short-term rentals, and which was putting additional pressure on an already very tight rental market. And I
Right.
know the municipality was looking to intervene and tighten uh,
Yeah.
tighten the screw or the rules on short-term rentals. I don't even know if they got around to doing that, because then COVID hit and it kind of took care of the issue for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
what?
about like here's the situation. About a month ago, if you had a unit downtown and you were thinking about like in terms of the stock market, when it dips and it comes back,
Mhm.
Same thing happened here in real estate. It kind of like really dipped for the downtown condo about a month ago.
Okay.
So if you were on the market about a month ago, you can really go and negotiate hard.
Okay. Okay.
And because nobody knew what was going to happen, and the market was, still not doing well. And like I said at the beginning, as of 1 week ago, things that the energy shifted, and now there's like a new excitement. Rental units that were difficult to rent are now being rented, and now we're seeing multiple offers on condo downtown Toronto. As long as the condo is pretty much any condo, like a decent condo,
Yeah.
would get multiple offers, or you would get like a decent price on the offer. So it's no longer a buyer's market. I would say right now it's kind of a balanced market.
Okay. Okay. Good to know.
So
Thanks,
if
guys.
somebody was looking to buy at the low, I would say now is the time.
Okay.
Wait another month or two and you're going to completely miss it.
Right. Not to mention that traditionally spring market is, a busier time. Like that's when you're probably going to have, well, it's just that's when the market is more active, and that's when most sellers are usually looking
Yes.
to sell. So it's only the ones that are more motivated that they're going to be listing their units right now, essentially, right?
Right.
So because they really need to sell for whatever reason.
Right.
Uh,
And one of my sources of information again are my daughter and my son, who are constantly calling me and say, "Hey, Dad, do you know about a condo somewhere downtown? My friend's looking, my girlfriend's looking." All these young people that have been, you know, back with their parents for the better part of 2020 are now
yeah,
reaching to come back to downtown. The lower rental price are obviously helping.
that's
Some of
awesome.
them are actually talking about buying. So, life is coming back to downtown Toronto, and it's gonna come back very, very quickly.
That's really good to know, Tolo. That makes me happy because
Yeah.
you know I was quite concerned about and I really hope that
Um,
the nightlife, the restaurants come back also. That would be I hope that happens sooner rather than later. Um, okay, I'm just wondering to see if yeah, I think we covered most of the questions that I had. We spoke about
there's
buyer's market or not. What's happening with the foreign buyers? I mean, we had up until 2 years ago, this was a big issue, and the premier of Ontario at the time felt it was a big enough issue that she had to implement that foreign buyer tax. Now that, especially when and the reason that was happening is because Toronto being an international city, Toronto was seen as a safe haven, and at the same time, our property prices were lower than comparable cities worldwide. So do we see that still being, now that prices are lower, especially for those downtown condos, do you see foreign buyers playing a role right now, Todor?
I have an issue with this foreign bias because it was like all political driven, keywords to ruffle some feathers and to make Canadians feel that the government is doing something. The foreign buyers are also seen as the foreigners. They're not one of us, but they're different, and they're coming and snapping our real estate, and we're gonna do something about it because
Mm-hmm.
we're the good guys. And at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, like this is all big BS, right? I mean, I remember when I started taking my clients to St. Catharines. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've said this example many, many times, but that would be what, about 7, 8 years ago, and we were doing very well with student rentals in St. Catharines, and I was one of the, probably, I don't know, but I'm guessing, one of the first Toronto agents that were taking Toronto clients in bigger numbers to to St. Catharines to buy student rentals, and
Mm-hmm.
all the local landlords that all knew each other, and they were all handling the Brock University student base, were looking at us as the foreigners, who are invading their city and driving the prices up, and they couldn't wait for us to go back to where we came from, so their
Right.
prices would come down to the levels that they're used to.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's all human psychology. I mean, we
Mhm.
were the foreigners in St. Catharines. As other people from around the world, we view them as foreigners. But here's the thing, you really have to talk to a developer of big developments and find out that there's no such thing as foreign buyers.
Really?
Because a foreign buyer is somebody who comes with an international passport,
Yeah.
no Canadian status, and say, here's my international status certificate, and here's my bank draft, and I want to buy this piece of real estate from you. That is a foreign buyer.
Hmm.
And that almost never happens.
Okay.
Almost like it's probably around 1% of the buyers are foreign buyers. Now, what people need to understand and make the distinction is not the foreign buyers, it's the foreign money.
Okay.
That is completely different
Fair enough. Yeah.
conversation,
Yeah.
and you can't control foreign money because
Yeah.
people from China or people from India, Pakistan,
Have family
these are the
members.
3 4 countries where we have a lot of foreign money coming to Canada through relatives, lawyers, corporations,
Yeah.
buying Canadian real estate.
Got it.
So it's a lot of foreign money that is buying Canadian real estate, not foreign buyers.
Well, thank you for that distinction, Todor. That's very funny. So in other words, they found a way around the restrictions and
Of course.
the penalties.
And
Um,
I always say that, like, money will always find a way. Money
haha.
is like water, it will flow. It
That,
needs to go where it needs to go.
that's so interesting. So do you still feel so right now with all the international uncertainty, in so many parts of the world, in your perception, do you think that internationally Toronto is still being seen as a safe haven? Um,
Absolutely.
okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. Canada as a whole,
Mm.
people, I spoke to 2 people who are wealthy individuals back home. They don't come here because they don't have a good life, back home. They come here for stability. They come here for the infrastructure. They come here for the healthcare. Like, it's a very organized, well functioning society where once you figure out the rules of the game, like, you can do quite a bit, but it's safe and it's secure.
Mm. Yeah,
And you can imagine that would you know people from Hong Kong can say that, people from China can say that,
for
India,
sure.
all
Yeah.
these, like, massive countries with massive populations where you have a lot of wealthy people that just want to take their money and put it somewhere where it's safe, and they want to take their families to somewhere where it's safe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And Canada obviously is viewed as one of those countries.
yeah, I hope it continues that way. I
Right.
have some
And also
concerns.
Canada makes it very easy for them to come here. Not very easy, but
Yes.
easier compared to USA, compared to Australia,
Or Western
which are the
Europe.
other 2 countries that they're eyeing.
Yeah, and that's another thing, Todor, that I'm wondering about because, again, one of the huge drivers of the Toronto real estate market previously was immigration. And as you said, Canada has much more lenient policies versus other countries, and they welcome immigrants. But now, and I know you're not an immigration expert, but I'm just wondering if you happen to know whether you know, to what extent immigration has reopened, because I can't imagine, like at the height of the crisis in 2020, early on, I can't imagine people were being
Yeah,
invited. Is that changing? Is that still what's happening now? Do you have any idea?
I
Uh,
don't. I don't. I mean, we can all speculate on when this is going to be over, and how it's going to disappear, or how we're going to be going back to normal, and what normal life is going to look like. We don't know that, but what I do know is that people that didn't come, they were planning to come in 2020. They didn't cancel their plans. They're just like waiting for the country to reopen.
I remember when my family immigrated to Canada, you know, it was a 2-year wait from the time they put through the application.
Yeah,
And just because of the amount of people that even back then
yeah,
were looking to
yeah.
immigrate, like 96 is when we came. Um, so now those people have to wait even longer. It'll, you know, I really hope it'll be worth their wait, you know,
You know,
and
I mean, I could be completely wrong, but my feeling is that, you know, pressure is building up. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
people
It-
were people were building at the gate, as you would say, and then it's like the moment the gate opens, it's just like everybody's gonna start coming in here, and just not gonna, it's not gonna help with the prices that we're having. That's for sure.
Got it. Yeah,
Because you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
looking from you know, an agent who is also servicing buyers is, I see Canadians in GTA, in Toronto, in Ontario, are looking at the prices, and it's hard, right?
and that's probably one of the other
But remember
drivers.
what we were saying at the club meetings 5 6 years ago. Like I was telling people, it's like buy now because it's just not gonna get cheaper.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
look at all of the other major cities in the world where, you know, most conversations don't, they don't go around real estate. People don't talk about real estate because, you know, people know that they're going to rent for the rest of their lives.
yeah, yeah,
You know, that ship has sailed in London, in Paris, in,
yeah. Hong
you
Kong.
know,
Oh, yeah.
Hong Kong, the big cities, right? I mean, you could have bought something 50 60 years ago, but not now. And you look at that and you say, well, in Toronto we all think that, oh, it's Canada, you know, I should be able to buy real estate. No, prices go up and up and up and up, and salaries don't really keep up.
Yeah.
Actually, if you tell me how to share my screen, I have a very interesting graphic that I just got like 5 minutes before.
Oh, I'll have to just
I
make you
don't know how to
host.
do that.
Yeah, I'll show you, Todor. So I'll have to just make you host. Uh, and once you're host, then you can click on share screen at the,
Let
okay.
me see.
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
little
here we go.
button, share
So
screen.
okay, just share the desktop, right? Okay, share.
Whatever you have that
Got it.
you wanted to share.
Here we go. There
Okay,
we
yeah.
are. Look at that.
Okay,
You see it?
yeah. Wow. Oh my goodness.
I just really got this like 3 minutes before we jumped on the call.
Sure,
And
yeah.
somebody, whoever that is, homing.ca, did that graphic, just to give you a sense of how much prices have jumped over the last 10 years, like
That's
more than doubled.
unbelievable.
And you
Yeah.
could see that they kind of equally more than doubled across all different types of residential real estate.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I
and
know.
and that's you know, that's the reality. I mean, this is the city that we live in.
Yeah. I see. Obviously, some of it you could say it's inflation, but you know, even accounting for inflation, I mean, that's still
Yeah,
whoever bought a condo or any kind of property in Toronto 10 years ago is doing well right now.
exactly.
They're
Like
very happy.
you could say that any type of properties, you've had, if you had bought 10 years ago, you would do extremely well. Now, you know, not cry big tears over like what happened like the last 10 years and how we missed the boat. This is going to keep on going. And the reason for that, big part of it is, again, small part is inflation, but the big part of it is immigration.
Yeah. Yeah.
The city is just going to grow, the country is just going to grow. More and more people are coming with um, amounts of money that they can actually afford to buy this kind of real estate. So my what I say to everybody is just like figure out a way, you know, talk to somebody who can help you,
Yeah.
maybe partner up with some other people, and buy any real estate that you can buy. You will do well.
My question, Todor, by the way, is yeah. So kind of brings me to my last question, or one of my last questions is, what opportunities do you see for someone that is, maybe is an investor or wants to become an investor? I know you said, any property is good, but speaking specifically to investors now, because in the past, again, people were buying these downtown condos with the intention of either Airbnb them or maybe renting them.
Renting them out.
And I don't know if the math still makes sense right now for the condo market. So what opportunities, if any, do you see for investors, whether in Toronto proper or on the outskirts in the satellite cities? I mean, it's a broad question, I realize, but
No, I get it. No, I get it. Like 10, 15 years ago, when you just step outside of Toronto or the GTA, we were talking about cash flow. That was 10, 15 years ago. You go to Hamilton, you buy a house, you buy a townhouse and you rent it out, or St. Catharines, and there was a decent cash flow, $200, $300, $500 a month per property. And then those days are gone. So we're not looking for cash flow anymore. We're looking for appreciation.
Okay.
And appreciation is also speculation because nobody knows where the market is going to go.
Okay.
But I'm confident, like downtown Toronto, you cannot cash flow. Like somebody told me, like you can cash flow any property when you put more money as a deposit.
Oh yeah, well.
Meaning like if you put like
Of course.
70% down payment, of course you can cash flow any property, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, like when we talk about the typical 20% deposit,
Yeah.
it's very, very hard to cash flow a property. But the appreciation, as you saw in that graph, is the real money, is the big money.
Yeah, much more. Okay.
So knowing how Canada is growing, knowing how it is very, very popular on the international scene, and knowing how people from all over the world are willing and able and very well financed to come here, it would be an easy mental exercise to think that, in the next 5 years, if I buy something for $500,000 now, in the next 5 years, I could see making $100,000.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like, I
Right?
mean, I say for sure based on the history that we had. Like, I mean, people were making that in a shorter period of time, even in terms of, so that's being, I think, conservative, with that estimate, for sure.
So you have to remember, like real estate is a long game, right? Over the long term, when we're talking about 10, 15, 20 years, there's really, I would say, like no risk or next to no risk. It would get riskier if you're trying to play the game, a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, got it.
If you buy a condo anywhere right now, thinking that in 3 years there's going to be a significant appreciation, and something like COVID happens, right?
Not many of us were prepared for
Right.
that was the only people prepared were the people at the very top, I think. But anyway,
Right.
but the rest of the population was definitely taken by surprise, and we've had to adjust and for sure. And hey, I have to say, I'm proud of all of us, and the news you shared earlier about how productivity has actually gone up with people working from home. I think that's not what people would naturally expect, and to me, that's a testament to human ingenuity, human resiliency. We're gonna make things happen.
And obviously we do have to mention also all of the businesses that were lost, all of the jobs that were lost. Like a lot of people are hurting, a lot of business owners are also hurting. So that's it's not a great thing for everybody, but for a lot of people, things are kind of like work-wise are moving along the same way. But a lot of people are out of a job and businesses were lost, so that's not a good thing. But once we figure out a way of this COVID situation, things are gonna come back.
I think it's like you said. I think there's only so much people will put up with at the end of the day, and there comes a point where, you know, people need that social connection. People, you know, I think working from home is one thing, but the lack of social life, the activities for children, you name it, all that stuff, that's such an important part of life. And I also think it's such an important part of what makes the city a desirable place to live. So I think our politicians better smarten up, you know, because I mean, there was a guy, you may remember this guy, Richard Florida, a few years ago, talked about, he wrote a book, I forget the name, but he was like a philosophy professor, I forget. But anyway, he spoke about, you know, how what attracted the biggest talent to a city, the smartest brains, was that it had an art scene, that it had like all this stuff. Like the fabric of the city is what makes a city desirable to live in. So if our politicians want Toronto to remain a world-class city and a desirable place to live, they're going to have to find a way to allow these, you know, ancillary businesses or services to come back if they want the smart, you know, for lack of a better term, you know, if they want the high paid tech job, for example, to come to Toronto, because otherwise those tech workers are going to think, well, you know what, maybe I'll move to a smaller town where I still can have some sort of a life, at least my love. No.
Anthony.
Okay.
Hey. Hola.
Okay, my love. Okay, my love, we're live right now. Okay, my love, say hi to Todor and say hi to everybody. Okay.
How many people are there?
Okay, my love, well, I'm not sure. We can actually, let's see, Todor, if people had any questions on Facebook, actually. Let's see, I forgot to mention.
I see a couple of comments. Thanks, Letitia, great work. Wow, we bought our house 13 years ago.
Well, that's good that they did.
This is,
so they should be happy with their decision. Okay, so more.
Sorry, I just need to turn this thing off. 1 second, because it's giving me a voice feedback. Yes.
Okay, so you can, yeah, no, I don't see any questions, just a couple of comments of appreciation. And absolutely, whoever of you had a chance to buy a house when you did, good for you.
Yeah.
You know,
and if you didn't, don't think that you missed the boat, and it's just like figure out a way to do something right now. Like I mentioned to you, I have you know, I have these great projects now that are outside of GTA, starting prices in the 350,000. So anything like that will help you. You don't have to live in Toronto and say, well, I can't really buy anything here. You know, you could buy something in Bowmanville projects. We have projects coming up in Innisfil, in Barrie. There are projects where you know, you can get in with significantly less and enjoy the appreciation in the next few years.
That's good to know, Todor. That's good to know. And to tell everybody, no, my love, not right now, please. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Todor. Normally he's at school, but I'll tell you later.
That's okay.
Yeah. So so Todor, so I appreciate those encouraging words, and that's good to know that people, you know, if you haven't had a chance to buy a property yet, you still have opportunities, and there are starter projects in the areas at least surrounding the GTA, and it's good to know that you, Todor, have access to those projects.
GTA is a game.
Anthony, please go away, please. Thank you. Okay, we may have to close this. Todor, tell everybody how they can reach you, please, in case people have questions. And what's
Fine, Mama, I want
to. You know, probably the quickest. The quickest and easiest way is to message me on my cell number. Can I give it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's 416-902-9707. I have WhatsApp. I have Telegraph. I have messaging.
Say that again,
so it doesn't matter where I am. I always get my messages.
I appreciate that. Say that again, Todor. 902.
416-902. 9707.
Okay, perfect. I have.
And my website is insidercondoaccess.com.
Okay.
Insidercondoaccess.com. I'm just in the process of updating it because there was so many projects coming up lately. I didn't get a chance to put them all on the website. But the best thing is just reach out to me, text me, and then I can basically get into a conversation and see what people are looking for, how I can help, whether it's an advice or they need some spreadsheet to calculate something, or they're looking to buy, to sell, like whatever it is. Like I'm here to
You've got
do
their
my
back.
part.
You've got their
Yeah,
back.
I'm here
I
to do
know,
my
and that's
part,
one
for
thing I
sure.
can tell you guys. Like Todor is a good guy. He is a good guy,
Thank you.
and he will he'll point you in the right direction. I mean, when it comes to real estate, I know he comes from a good place. He really wants to help his clients, and whether you're an investor or a first-time home buyer, I know, I can tell you, Todor is a good guy. He comes from a good place. He wants to do good for people. He wants to help you. So if you have been thinking of buying, or perhaps you have a property that you'd like to sell and you're thinking of options, I do encourage you to reach out to Todor. He is a good guy. He's on your side. Okay.
I appreciate it, Todor. So thank
Absolutely,
you.
Todor. Absolutely. I know I can say that 100%. So thank you so much for joining us today, Todor, and sharing a little bit about what you've seen happening in the Toronto market, in the surrounding areas, and telling people that there is hope out there. You can still get into the market. You can still get your hand on a piece of real estate. Don't be shy. Don't think you've lost your chance. Where there's a will, there's a way, and with your helping hand, I know they can.
That's the main point. And you always have to, like, I'm grateful, and everybody should be grateful that I know it's tough, I know it's expensive, but we still live in a very fast growing community, in a very fast growing city and country. So we just have to find a way to take advantage of those opportunities.
Got it.
It's nice to be in a place where things are going up. Imagine if we were in a place where things are going down,
Well,
right? And then you feel like really, really stuck, and there's like
right.
nothing to do, right? Things are really growing here, and everything is going up. So we are in the best place.
That's awesome. That's awesome,
Yes.
Todor. Thank you again so much for joining us. And everybody, I will post Todor's contact information in the comments below. Feel free to reach out to Todor if you have any real estate questions, okay?
Thanks, Leticia.
Thanks again, Todor. I will see you
Enjoy the
around, my friend.
sunshine.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Blessings.
See you
All the
later.
best.
Bye.
Take care.